When ChatGPT first landed late last year, it blew our socks off. It was the #1 fastest adopted technology in forever. But ChatGPT is just the surface. What we don't realize is AI is a whole lot bigger and a lot more impactful than ChatGPT. So in this AI special for marketing, we'll talk about that and a whole lot more in this episode of Inbound Buzz.
Welcome to the Inbound Buzz podcast, your weekly jolt of all things digital and inbound marketing, brought to you by redpandas.com.au. Now for your host and co-founder of Red Pandas, Moby Sadiq.
Welcome to the Inbound Buzz podcast, episode 137. My name is Tony and I'm joined by Moby Sadiq. Welcome back, Mopes.
It's good to be home, man.
You went to Chicago.
We went to Chicago, so Tasha and myself went to the They Ask You Answer Summit in Chicago. Was phenomenal. It was run by our business partners and friends at Impact. There was 3 days. We spoke about They Ask You Answer. Today, of course, spoiler alert, is going to be about AI, so I can't wait to nip into that. But man, it's good to be home.
Okay. So you were telling me about these famous hot dogs?
So Chicago, if you want to put on some weight and calories, you got to go to Chicago. They've got deep dish pizzas. They've got sandwiches, like beef sandwiches. And they've got these hot dogs. And I swear to God, Tony, I'm not a hot dog guy, but I had the best hot dog in my life.
Really?
It's beef. It's got pickles, like a piece of tomato, like random shit like celery salt.
Okay.
I swear to God, the best hot dog I've had in my life.
Better than Bunnings? Oh.
Man, that's a good one. See, Bunnings has history and legacy and childhood.
$1 hot dogs.
Yeah, but if it didn't, then it would win.
Okay.
But yeah, otherwise Bunnings takes the cake.
Okay. So let's just start. Our news buzz, is AI dangerous and should it be regulated? So what happened in the past week was there was this fake AI photo about the Pentecost on blast and apparently wiped out billions of dollars on the Wall Street market. Like crazy people just start selling and going crazy.
I saw that. It's freaky. I feel like people are just testing AI right now, right? Like you can blow up the Pentagon in an AI photo or video and crash the stock market.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, I mean, what's your take on that? What do you think this means for the industry? What does this mean? Like, why should we care about this?
Well, a lot of tech influencers are coming out talking about should it be regulated, and that's the one thing that we hate and we like and we hate, right? But should be regulated. Is it going to get out of hand? Is it ethical? Is things going to happen that we can't control?
It's going to get out of hand. It is. So we're going to talk a little bit about Paul Roetzer's work in the marketing space, the AI space. But, he talks about the importance of not ruining this. And we have this great tool that can be used for good. But the thing is, Tony, bro, this, man. Marketers are going to ruin it. Not marketers. Not just marketers will ruin it. But people will ruin it. We had the Cambridge Analytica scandal when Trump got elected. So for those that don't know or don't follow American politics, and I do because I treat American politics like a spectator sport, but they were manipulating or like social media posts and getting more likes and shares and pushing fake news. That was done 4 or 5 years ago, man. People are going to take advantage. I'm sorry, AI is going to be used for bad and it's going to get a bad name. But of course, there's a lot of good. But
so should it be regulated, you reckon? Or?
I don't know. Well, I really don't know. I think anything that harms people, but the thing is that can always, I don't want to say anything that harms people or anything that, because we've spoken about this with Twitter. I'm more for freedom of speech because I feel like that has more of a net positive than suppression. But man, we just have to wait and see, man.
Yeah, because it's interesting. Someone said that image might not be dangerous, but the effect on it is dangerous and what people do with it, right? So it's where do we draw the line? How does it get regulated? So it's just exciting times, huh, Mopes, about
exciting
AI.
Times.
Moving on. News buzz 2, Google Magi. Right, it's not beta Bard, the beta stage of Bard, they had. It's actually Google Magi. It's their answer to Bing with ChatGPT.
So it's not Bard anymore.
No, I think that was the beta stage.
Gotcha.
Honestly, it was a failure. It was it sucked. So they came up with something else, Magi. It's number one. They employed 160 engineers to work on this project, and they want to change their whole search engine style. Because they want to just take Bing and ChatGPT out of the competition, you know what I mean? how's it different? They're trying to make it more conversational. So when you're using a search engine, it's not just like 10, results. It's hopefully it's more conversational. You can do more transaction on the search engine, on Google search engine. I don't know, because like for 2 decades, Google was the homepage of the internet, right? That's what we all said. And you made a good comment today when we were talking that Google's got something in the back end with AI.
Yeah. So you know what? Even you and I on this show, Tony, like I said, like the wrong thing. I remember like ChatGPT, it's going to blast Google out of the water. Look out! And I think I might have even said something about the big companies. They get to a point where they get lazy and then they get disrupted. I was completely wrong about that. So what I've learned, again, from Chicago, from Paul Roetzer, and we're going to talk about his work today, is what he was sharing with us, that Google actually has a lot of AI chops. They bought DeepMind, they've made all these acquisitions years and years ago. But the thing is, it was all internal, Tony.
Damn.
It was all internal. It was for products, right? Like, we've spoken about this, like, AdWords and that their platforms. It was self-serving and it was all internal. Because they had no impetus to disrupt their own market, right? They own search. This is the main way we search. TikTok's coming along and TikTok's taking, a bit of search from whatever. But really, by and by, Google is still going to be the number one search platform. Now they've had an excuse to disrupt themselves. Now there is a reason to disrupt themselves. So now all of a sudden, like, oh, wow, out of nowhere, they've done this and this. No, they've been working on this for a long time. So OpenAI has got, and you were saying this, like Microsoft had to buy a part of OpenAI.
Yeah.
Google has this baked in, man.
They own it.
Yeah, do not sleep on Google. They've got more AI chops than anyone, bar maybe Amazon, in the field of commerce.
Yeah, it's like quite achievers.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting times. On top of that, Google Marketing Live 2023 events, new generative AI features for Google Ads, product studios, and more. So it is true. Google Ads have been coming up with all these new stuffs in the back end.
Machine learning.
Yeah, like they're having like this conversational experience when you create your ads. It talks to you. It recommends stuff to you. They got something called automatically created assets, ACA, which helps to generate, uses AI to generate better ads. It understands the website more, creates more information, learns about the business, creates more customized ads. And what it said was, Moby, it's like, imagine you're going to go to jiu-jitsu in Chicago, right?
I did do that, by the way.
Oh, yeah, you did, eh?
By the way, Aussies are much better than the Americans. But anyway, another story. But yeah, sorry, keep going.
So let's say you go there, right? And you're looking for a jiu-jitsu class, no gi. Well, they can target that. And they'll make a message targeting you. Hey, man, there's a no gi event in Chicago in this area. Google's trying to get that ready for us. Interesting.
Crazy.
Yeah.
More ways to spend our money, but better targeting. I'm all for it.
Also, Product Studio generated AI. They got this, like feature where you can generate unique and customized product images. So let's say e-commerce company or a company is trying to get some images up. They can get it customized within that lifestyle, topic or whatever. Google will make it. So,
right.
Like graphics designers, watch out. Like,
100%. Everyone watch out.
But yeah, that's it. Just Google's got a lot coming that, I'm excited about, especially in the industry that we work in.
Awesome.
Next section, featured buzz, AI.
Cool. So this whole section is around marketing for AI or AI for marketing. Now, I've referenced earlier Paul Roetzer. So he wrote this book called Marketing Artificial Intelligence. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. And I'm going to talk about why, and it'll be obvious by the end of this. And this guy, Tony, he's in huge demand, man. He was, the day before the conference, he was at US Congress. His time is so valuable. Like, you have people like the heads of HubSpot, Brian and Damesh, calling this guy. He charges thousands of dollars, for his time. The reason why he was there is he's good friends with Bob, our business partner from Impact, and Marcus as well. So we were very, very lucky to have his time. He was there. Briana as well was there. Briana from Impact, a fellow colleague and friend, was there as well. She did an amazing talk on AI prompts. And by the way, like, spoiler alert, this is not the last time we're going to talk about AI. So we can't talk about everything today. We will talk about her stuff one day. But anyway, what he really made me understand, Tony, because even me, I was a bit behind, is ChatGPT is just scratching the surface. It is barely scratching the surface. Like, I don't even want to talk about ChatGPT today. Like, we've got nothing really to talk about ChatGPT. It is so much bigger than that.
Wait, Paul Roetzer, you tell me he's been there since the beginning, 6 years, built all this.
Yes, sorry. Thank you for reminding me. So Paul Roetzer, he's not just some guy where, he just wrote a book. He created the marketing for AI, the Marketing for AI Institute 7 years ago. So talk about foresight.
Legit.
This guy saw it before we all did. Now we're getting excited. He saw this before. Now AI is already part of what we do when we're on social media, when we're on TikTok, Google Ads. They use AI to serve to us. What's interesting now is we can use AI selfishly for ourselves. That technology is trickling down now. And as marketers and salespeople, we have the opportunity to really leverage this stuff. Not even marketing and salespeople, but in business, we have the opportunity to leverage this.
So it's like AI to consumer now, like you were saying.
Yeah, AI for businesses, for consumer, but absolutely. So just to kind of show you the sheer amount of opportunity, in 2018, so this is still a couple of years ago, in 2018, McKinsey did a study where they found the gross financial outputs of AI in terms of value for businesses could be anywhere between 9.5 to something like $15.4 trillion.
Trillion with the T.
With a T. Just to compare, the US GDP for 2018 was 20.6 trillion. So the amount of potential value creation is almost the size of the US GDP economy. Now, of that, right, of the 9 areas they spoke about, implications for HR, finance, logistics, you name it, marketing and sales was the number one area where AI is going to have a big impact. That's why we need to perk our ears up and listen to this stuff.
Wow. Man, things are getting big and hectic.
Yeah, things are getting pretty crazy. So, I mean, really, we talk about this, right? Because even me, man, even though we're in tech and it's one of those things that's a little bit scary, right? What should we do? Is this just another thing? Is this another a fad that we have to worry about now? And there's some of the stuff we're going to talk about today, man. It is things that, the first thing I will say is education, right? So you need to educate yourself. And I'm gonna bring this up again. It's going to be that important. Educate yourself. Buy Paul Roetzer's book. They've got a course as well. They have an academy. There are so many little things that you can do. Just understand what's possible. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. We're going to give you a crash course on what you can actually do, which will blow everyone's minds. The second thing is find user cases. So when I say this, it's obvious, but what Paul talks about is you can use AI to save costs and time or generate revenue. The easiest path to AI adoption will be to save time and cost.
Okay.
Find user cases. And in this, I'm going to talk about what we're doing at Red Pandas and what you and I were talking about, Tony, what we want to do with our teams to implement it on a small user case basis. Because the thing is, it's more important that your first AI projects succeed than the value of them. It's more important you build that muscle of, some confidence and some understanding of what's possible, broaden your horizons, then how valuable it's going to be.
Interesting. Yep.
Just to kind of give you one thing I want to share with you, there's this, the power of AI, right? And this blew my mind, this example. There is this influencer, and I got to find her name. What was she called? There's influencer. Her name is Little Maquila, right?
Little Maquila.
I'm obviously not the target audience for this. Little Maquila. She's a young Brazilian woman. She has 3 million followers. She has had sponsorships by Prada, Calvin Klein, Vogue, BuzzFeed. Little Maquila, Tony, is not real at all.
No way. It's not real.
She is completely AI generated.
Wow.
Her content is AI generated. Her face, her imagery is AI generated. The only human thing about her is when a brand does a deal, they have to speak to the agency or whoever it was that created her.
Damn.
And they sign deals because you can't speak to Little Maquila. She doesn't exist. You have to speak to a human to sign a brand deal, and then they will create generative content.
Damn.
It's crazy. Now, how did they do this? Just to kind of, before I go deep, right? It just shows you how smart it is. AI is so smart. It can create a person. It can scan the algorithm, it can use the algorithms and deep learning to understand what people actually resonate with. Look, I haven't seen Little Michaela, but I'm guessing there's a lot of skin and ass, right? I'm guessing that's what they've learned. But it will figure out what actually the comments, the writing, the hashtags, whatever it is, and it does better than humans can.
Crazy.
Better than humans can. 3 million
Yeah.
followers like that.
Crazy.
I don't even know what it is right now. And I didn't.
Everyone's Googling right now. What is this
Little
little
Michaela.
Michaela?
Yeah, I'm probably butchering it. Miquela. Yeah. Anyway, so look, let's talk about the user cases now, right? Let's get on with it. There's a couple of different areas, and we're going to go through this really, really fast because honestly, I will not do justice to Paul's book. My job here today is to share a couple of ideas, get you excited. You know, if you're listening, and if you're listening on podcast, Apple, Spotify, thank you so much. If you want to see our glorious mugs and faces, you can go to redpandas.com.au/EP137 if you want to see the video version. But anyway, so our jobs today is just to get people excited on what's possible and our approach that we're adopting at our agency and for our clients. The first one I want to talk about, Tony, is your space. Paid ads and paid media, and something we're going to be testing soon. There's a couple of tools I want to talk about. One is called Pattern, and I want to get your thoughts on what you think this means, right? Pattern 89. What Pattern 89 does. Now, some of these we've looked at, most of these we haven't tried. Full disclaimer on our side. Pattern 89 will predict what ads will work before you launch them. So everyone knows what split testing is. Everyone knows what trial and error is. You create some ads, you see how it goes. With Pattern 89, you create them, you draft them up, do whatever you do, you run it through this tool, and it will use AI to scan against billions of other ads that have performed, and it will tell you what to change. What comes to mind, Tony, when you hear of a tool like this? Like, where do you think it can beat something like a human? Where do you think this falls in the workflow of people running paid ads?
Yeah, I think looking at it, man, like I would love to see it work. You know what I mean, like it's exciting times, but you know, it doesn't hurt. Like we can test it. We can see what the program says, and then we can use the same ad and test it on Google and see if it's actually true or not, right? We can do stuff like that. It doesn't hurt to test it, you know, like there's products that have come out. Obviously, these books recommended it. So, yeah, like it's about just testing it. Because, you know, like one person might test it and it doesn't work. Another person might use 100%. Like, wow, that was amazing. So, it's just interesting. But exciting times because that would help our work a lot.
Man, like the thing is, with everything we're talking about today, it's the scale. Like we can't do it at that scale. We can test, we can do a whole bunch of stuff, but at the scale, you know, we don't come close.
Yeah.
We just don't, right? The next one is, this falls into a few areas, but I put in paid ads, is attention insight. This will probably be one of the first ones we're going to implement. This will predict how design elements and landing pages will work. So again, you pay an agency, you pay someone like us, or you get someone in-house to do it, and you're using their probably, you know, good expertise, you'd like to think, but it's just their expertise, right? This tool will actually judge, just like the paid ads, it will judge your landing pages on how well they'll perform. I think it's
crazy. Because like we test a lot of landing pages, designs. We test heaps, right, Moby? Like we design and test. And sometimes we don't know the answer, right? Having a product that can just tell us and predict, that's even better. That will help us save so much time.
And like you said, it's an easy one to test, right? Use something like this, give it a go. You might not even like it, right? You're like, nah, and my one is so much better. But that's where you can split test them. Run your own against this and see. That's what we're going to do anyway, Tony. Just to see, okay, is it better than us? And if it is, great. That means we can run more. Tony's like smiling. What does that mean for our team? No. It means we can run more and more work with the same people and focus on the creative strategy more than anything, you know?
Use it against your agency if you are.
100%. The next one, so I'll try to get through this faster and faster, is an analytics tool in the analytics category called Crayon. So in the book, it talks about a company called Budget Dumpster in the US, and they use Crayon to brainstorm new marketing campaigns. Now, how's this different to what we're doing? Right now, you have Google Analytics. It doesn't tell you anything. This is actually an analytics tool that will brainstorm campaigns and ideas based on your data. Now, how does it work when you don't have a lot of data? I'm not sure. Like what I did try to be careful of is the shortlist that we're talking about today, Tony, is not just all the stuff that big brands and businesses like, I don't know, like Woolworths or whatever, or Maya can do. Like a lot of these things we can all do, but some of them are going to be dependent on your own data. Like that's just a given. The next one is, I'm very curious on this one because, and this might bruise my ego if it's better than me, is in the communication category called beautiful.ai. So what it will do, it will actually create your content slides. Now, you know me, Tony, I'm a bit like, you know, there's like something wrong with me. Like I'm on the spectrum when it comes to my slides. It has to be a certain way and pageantry, and everyone's heard it at Red Pandas, right? My slides are a certain way. But this thing, I'd be curious to know whether it can do it better than me.
Interesting.
I just create the content and this will actually do the slides for you.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
Help with presentations and stuff.
Crazy. Moving along in the content. Now, this section here, I swear to God, Tony, we could do a whole podcast just on content, right? But I'm just going to talk about 2 tools real quick. Phrase.io, it provides answers to questions using content from your site. Now, for any businesses who believe in content, who have a good content site, because garbage in, garbage out, right? Anyone like Red Pandas who writes 3 articles per week. And if you're not, you need to kind of get on that train, right? That's another conversation for another day. It will use your content for the AI tool, for the bot, right? The conversation bot. So you could actually have a conversation bot on your website. And this is the thing, you know, people ask questions and we're always like, read the email or read the content. People don't read, right? It doesn't matter if it's on your website, people will not read, even if it's on the homepage, right? So this will use the content from your website. You could ask, right? You could ask, how much does video production cost, right? You could ask, how much does, you know, like SEO cost? Or SEO versus SEM. How much should I spend? It will scan your website and give people an answer.
Oh, amazing.
You don't even have to come up with prompts anymore.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? So that's really cool. The next one is Market Muse. This is really cool. This helps you predict content success by telling you what topics to write. This falls into the SEO category as well. Now, the difference between something like SEMrush is cool, but with SEMrush, you have to you're just using that secondary data, right? This will actually not only give you content ideas, it will give you the difficulty based on your website, your strength, and your competitors, what it thinks you can actually do. So rather than wasting time and talking about